Hello, welcome everyone. We will be talking today with Ulla Krog, Solva Jensen and Åse Krag Petersen from the Soroptimist Club in Silkeborg in Denmark. And they will share their experience with us on the project that they completed in the village of Kabekel in the Gambia.
Hello, Ulla. Hello, Åse. Hello, Solveig. We are all anxious to learn how come that Danish Soroptimists started a project in the Gambia. It is the smallest country in West Africa, surrounded by Senegal, and with the population of only 2.5 million. As we can see, there is quite a big distance between Denmark and the Gambia. So how did your club come up with this project?
We operate in the western part of the Gambia, where most of the Gambians are living. Silkeborg, Denmark has since 2010 carried out many projects in the Gambia, including providing clean water for a family whose daughter we paid schooling for. We contacted SI Banjul in 2015 and have worked together with the club since in various projects. Members of our club have visited the Gambia once a year to monitor our projects and to visit SI Banjul in the Gambia. In 2015, they took us to the sea to see the women garden near the village of Kabekel, where they had paid for a fence surrounding the garden to prevent animals from eating their crop. We also visited the village and saw the village well. It was an open well contaminated with, among other things, dead animals. The women of the village only drained the water that was used for drinking and cooking. The state of health of the village people was poor. The children had to be dewormed twice a year, and their learning in school was poor.
What we found interesting during our initial discussions about your project was that it was not you imposing the idea on the inhabitants of Kabekel, but it was them approaching you that having clean water would be essential for them. Please, can you tell us more about your project?
We established a solar power pump to pump water up to the 3 water tanks in the tower, holding 5,000 liters each, which we also established. We are looking at the metal pipes that were used to build the tower for the tanks. 2.5 kilometers of water pipes were dug down by a local contractor for the water tower to the 64 compounds of the village. Pipelines from the main line to each compound were to be paid for by the families themselves. We also established 64 water taps, one for each compound in the village. Here you can see the solar system and the well with the solar-powered pump that carries the water to the tanks. The project was divided into 2 steps because of the corona epidemic. During the first step, 1 kilometer of pipelines was established, and during the second step, the other 1.5 kilometer.
So now we are getting to the implementation. The budget of 14,500 euro is quite high for one club to finance. How did you cope with that?
We could not finance the project ourselves, so we asked Danish clubs and private sponsors to help us. In total, 10 Danish clubs, SI Banjul, and a few private sponsors enabled us to get the amount that we needed to finance the project.
Well, this lovely lady is Ulla, the project manager of this project, I guess, but am I right?
Oh yes, you are quite right. In our club, we always form a project organization for each country we work in or for single projects. For our currently 7 projects in Gambia, we have a group of 8 members who prepare project descriptions for each new project. The group meets throughout the year to follow up on their projects. In the Gambia group, Ulla Krogh is the project manager. She visits the Gambia every year, often with other members of our club. What was very important before we implemented the project, we made the necessary agreements with the village chief about the whole project, with the SI Banjul to monitor the project between our annual visits, and with the contractor who was to carry out the work in cooperation with the village, SI Banjul, and us.
From the timescale of your project, we can see that it ran during the COVID-19 pandemic. Did it somehow affect the course of the project?
Yes, it did. The corona epidemic was very bad in Gambia, and the project was stopped for more than a year, which led to an increase in prices on the contractor's part. We therefore had to carry out extra negotiations, which ended with him being able to complete his part of the project as first agreed. Our experience is that you must follow up on your projects both during and after the project has been completed. Due to the corona epidemic, we had to adjust our time schedule and renegotiate the price with the contractor. Otherwise, we didn't encounter any problems.
Since your club is visiting Kabekel every year, could you tell us a bit more about your impressions, how the life in the village has changed after your project has been completed?
Already at the end of the project, we could see that the village was under development. The children no longer had to be dewormed. The women started growing vegetables in their compounds. They could harvest twice a year, thus have a surplus of vegetables, which they sold at the market. This gave them money to buy school uniforms, books, and so on. They can also buy shoes, which is necessary for the children to be admitted to school. This especially benefits the girls, as they come last when there is not enough money in the family for all their children to go to school. Furthermore, the women buy goats, chicken, and even pigs from their earnings.
The number of inhabitants of the village has increased and buildings are better maintained. This is what we were able to ascertain 1 year after the end of the project.
As we can see from the impact you made on the life in Kabekel, providing clean water has a positive cascade effect also on other spheres of life, women's empowerment and education, especially for the girls. So you have successfully tackled 3 areas of focus that Soroptimist International of Europe concentrate on in their work. Well done, ladies.
Well, did you have a long-term vision when you started for this project?
Well, since the project was completed, the village itself has decided to finance the establishment of a generator that can supply the well's solar cell-powered pump with energy at night when the sun cannot charge the batteries. In addition, each individual compound pays a monthly fee towards maintenance of the facility.
You mentioned a compound, but can you please explain what is a compound exactly?
You can see a house in the old compound in this picture. A compound is a place where family lives. The concept of the family in Gambia is different from our Western European understanding of the term. A family is generally rather large. Several generations live together with their spouses, siblings, and a lot of children. This is a house in a newer compound. A compound consists of several houses, and a family of 20 to 40 people can live here.
Finally, have you got any advice for us you would like to share?
We think that it is essential to have some knowledge of the culture of the country or the region you want to establish your project in. Therefore, we always prioritize to cooperate with the local Soroptimist Club and to start with a smaller project. In that way, you can gradually gain an understanding of the local culture, and cooperation with local partners can proceed more easily. The culture of many countries requires patience and persistence. It is also our experience that it is necessary to have prepared in advance the thorough project description with deadlines and action plans for implementation, monitoring, evaluation, and follow-up. Visiting our project and seeing the result is worth the effort. We were a group of 20, mostly Soroptimists, who visited Kabekel a year after the end of the project. We ate, danced, and partied with the inhabitants, and we and the village chief gave some speeches. The women told us many stories about how much better their lives were now and how their status in the village had improved.
Such stories make you want to do another successful project. The partnership with SI Banjul was important for the success of the project. And we do want to thank the club for the good cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ulla, Solveig, and also for talking to us today. You have showed us the real power of Soroptimist cooperation. Thank you to everyone who contributed to making this project a success. And to all our viewers, thank you for taking your time and watching this video and learning more about the clean water for the village in Kabekel in the Gambia.